Alright, y'all, I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Season 3 of The Boys on Amazon Prime. If you have not seen it yet, come on back, because there will be spoilers. I messed up not doing this when I initially watched the full season about a couple weeks before the whole season dropped. I was fortunate enough to see the season in advance, and I was like, holy shit. And it was so difficult to try to talk to people and find people who would watch the whole thing in advance to talk about. I am a fan of The Boys. I saw a lot of people say that they feel as if this is some things I just scrolled through various social media, you know what I'm saying? I see people sharing, liking, stuff like that, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Talking about they felt like Season 3 just got gratuitous and just went, you know, over the top just for the sake of going over the top. When it seems those people who said that are not familiar with the comics in itself. And I only say that because the graphic novel, the comic of The Boys, is even more fucking violent than what we saw on the show. The first 10 minutes of the opening of Season 3, to watch termite go in a dude's dick hole, sneeze, and explode. Everybody was like, yo, how does this happen? Now, I talked about it, and I don't know if you guys have read the articles. Maybe you have not. If you haven't, allow me to think. Eric Kripke, the showrunner of The Boys, said that that scene was inspired by all of the memes asking, why doesn't Ant-Man just shrink down and go up Thanos' asshole and explode from the inside? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your memes and your social media paid off. I think the level of what we saw this season was great. I love the season top to bottom. The evolution of Homelander to pure supervillain, but supervillain that is accepted by half of society. That is another thing. The show has played a lot on current real life things and how they would be handled. Look, just gonna call it what it is. Homelander is Donald Trump as Superman. It's exactly what it is. Yes, it's what it is. Some people don't want to admit it, but when you have the very end of the last scene of the season where Homelander introduces the world to Ryan, his son, and again, I said spoiler alert, and the dude throws a can and hits Ryan, and Homelander uses his eye lasers and blows his fucking face off, and the crowd cheers. Never forget Donald Trump said, I could shoot somebody in the middle of 6th Avenue and it'd be okay. Remember that? So that's kind of where that comes from. But as a whole, Anthony Starr deserves all the praise and awards for this show, for the work he puts in as Homelander. You watch this show and you sometimes, again, you forget sometimes this is a man playing a character and you're like, yo, are you really a racist piece of shit? Are you really that terrible? To show Stormfront in the hospital after being blown up and he uses her to jack him off. I said, holy fuck. When Stormfront kills herself, and as Ashley mentioned, she $1 million babied herself. And when you got fucking, this is before Homelander is outed as being a sociopath. When you have the young girl who's threatening to jump, and Homelander's trying to save her, and then he sees that fucking Stormfront has killed herself, and tells old girl, jump. No, that wasn't like a, you know what I'm saying, a rhetorical jump. Like you basically either you jump or I'm gonna throw you off this motherfucker. She has to kill herself. To watch that, to watch MM going through everything, Laz Alonso, that man also deserves award. Yo, that man deserves all the awards for, you know, not only portraying someone with PTSD, someone who is dealing with situations, being on medication, mental health issues and stuff and whatnot. The HEROGASM scene where first off him and Love Sausage again, and then to open the door and get nutted on all over. Not to mention the dude, another dude who shrunk himself and I'm assuming jumped out the pussy and just went against his jacket. He was like, what the fuck? Like Laz Alonso earned his paychecks through this entire season. Karen Fukuyama as Kimiko, amazing. To watch her, you know, she hated who she was because of Compound V, to going into embracing who she is and just knowing that the animalistic nature, the brutality behind it is not because of the V. That's just who she is. Frenchie going through the thing, finding out about his old, you know what I'm saying, the old person, the lady in the Russian mob he used to work for. That was incredible. Huey and Butcher taking Temp V and giving them powers. When we first saw Butcher take Temp V and fuck up Gunpowder, yo, like, you're like, oh, this is going crazy. And I think we never got the question as to why does Huey, when he teleports, he loses his clothes. I don't know. We never got the answer to that. To get all the introduction of the whole Payback team, again, this is a thing from the comics. Now, these were some of the things changed in the comics. So, again, I brought up HEROGASM. If you're familiar with the comics, in HEROGASM, Homelander doesn't have a team as of yet. HEROGASM, it is yearly that he is Soulja Boy's bitch. And by Soulja Boy's bitch, Soulja Boy fucks him. Like, fucks him once a year. Also, Soulja Boy's goddamn deviant in this show. As much as I praised Anthony Starr as Homelander, I gotta give it up to Jensen Ackles. Like, I'm not a Supernatural fan, so I know there are Supernatural fans who were like, yo, I always knew, and blah, 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 blah. And some, you know, there are some people who go that it's either him or Jared Padalecki. I didn't know the level of racist douchebag hero that he was going to play. And I know a lot of people are like, why are all the villains always racist? That's because most people, that's how they would be. Let's just be real. There's some who are just greedy. There are some who are just hateful and spiteful. And you find out that Soulja Boy was one of those. Some people have said if Captain America was real, that is how Captain America would be. Because again, Bucky seems like he called T'Challa boy. So I don't, you know, now I know, like, yes, him and Sam are best friends, and yes, everybody's like, yes, he won't Sam's sister, but again, when have not black women been fetishized by white men? Like, that is how you have light-skinned babies since slavery. I digress. I think him, you know, being the key to stopping Homelander, because now him being radioactive, thanks to the Russians, he can burn out the V out of a soup system. That shit's crazy. Him having burned it out of Kimiko. Him burning it out of Maeve at the end. You know, Maeve being beat up and everything and losing an eye. Like, that fight in the season finale. I'm going to be all over the place, y'all, if you haven't realized. The fight with her and Homelander is so dope for several reasons. Because she starts swinging on this Mog. And Homelander's like, not now. And keeps trying to walk off. And she like, no, I got a point to prove. Because again, she wanted to expose him for remember the video. And it got to the point where he was like, I don't give a fuck. You do it. I have nothing to lose. And then she's like, shit, my trump card is out the window. When that Mog stuck his thumb in her eye. And then, you know, went back to fighting. Just, hey. But let me talk for a moment about Jack Quaid and Carl Urban. Their roles as Huey and Bill Butcher were amazing. To see the reason why Butcher kind of is why he is, the suicide of his brother that he feels responsible for, and why he cares so much about Huey. Huey to him is just like his brother, and you get a better understanding. Now we know, you know, at the season finale, you can find out Butcher got about a year left to live. So season 4 will more than likely be Butcher's last season in The Boys if they continue to go further. But there was so much you rocked with it. But also, the relationship with him and Maeve, I was like, don't get it. Like, there's always something we've seen in these various shows where two superpowered people fuck, right? It's always aggressive but beautiful at the same time. It's like there's shit getting broken with somebody getting broken off. I really just need a show. Just need a show. Shows me one superpowered motherfucker with one regular person, and they giving them the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that person just don't know what to do afterwards. That's just me. Something I want. The Deep, yo. You know, again, remember I brought up the meme from Ant-Man, Thanos is how we got the first scene. The Aquaman fucks fish joke is how we end up getting the Deep fucking octopus, octopi, and mollusk. Like, yo, and then trying to get his wife in on a threesome. And his wife's like, nah. And you could kind of tell watching her the whole time trying to coerce him to speak up for himself and be a certain way, that this was like her inevitable plan to be able to leave and have that tell-all book. Because her book came out real quick. Then she all of a sudden started appearing on fucking TV shows. You also see he's eating sweets and everything. Because between the way Homelander's been insulting and ridiculing Human A-Train, which I'll get to in a second, to see that he's a bigger bitch more than anything else. And that's because he finally got a spot back in the 7, of course, after the whole contest they did. Where, again, to see how much Homelander's a racist. He didn't want to let a black and a Muslim girl in. That should have rightfully been in the 7. He picked Supersonic because Supersonic was close with Starlight. And just was like, I'm going to make this executive decision. It's the Deep. That's fucked up. A-Train, how much of a coon can one person be? I was asked that of Clarence Thomas. I will ask that of Candace Owens. Yes, I am a black dude that is calling him a shoe shuffling coon. And I know there's going to be somebody now that goes in the comments and says, oh, why they got to be that? Because they don't think the way liberal Democrats, blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck about their political affiliation. I just know that they have never done anything productive for black people as a whole. No, I'm not saying they play victims and shit like that. They're just terrible motherfuckers. That's it. And A-Train trying to play off his African roots with that terrible ass new suit to the racist hero Blue Hawk, they did the all suits matter, and then him, you know, saying it was Antifa after he paralyzes A-Train's brother. But then when A-Train drags this motherfucker in the street to death, only to be given his heart. Only to be given his heart. That is irony for your ass. I think one of the saddest parts and the saddest things about this entire season, between finding out about Butcher, the Kimiko and Frenchie relationship, was Black Noir. You know, in the comics, he's a clone of Homelander. He's a clone of Homelander in the comics. Again, we figured that out. That wasn't the case. But to see him being the one that helped set up Soulja Boy back in the day, because, you know, Stan Edgar, Giancarlo Esposito, who's fucking phenomenal again, was like, yo, Vogelbaum made a kid. We don't need him anymore. He can be gone. And to watch, you know, when we see through the eyes of the cartoons, where you have Black Noir trying to be in Beverly Hills Cop and losing the role to, of course, Eddie Murphy. And only reason he lost out on the role is because Soulja Boy dined him out. That is fucking hysterical and sad. But then to find out that Soulja Boy was beating on them regularly and just assaulting them. And then when the rest of Payback tried to take him down, he fucking bashed his fucking skull in, half his brains out. No wonder he writes like a kindergartner. But it's crazy because Black Noir scribbles everything he writes, but yet he fights with such precision and such tact. But also we saw he was terrified of Soulja Boy until he got murdered by Homelander for not telling him that Soulja Boy was his daddy, because he knew. Like, damn. The fact that this show has made dildos based on the 7. Again, based on real life. Yes, boys and girls, you can Google. There are dildos based off the Avengers. There's right now some tiny little Tiffany in the middle of Kansas ramming herself with a Hulk dildo. Or, matter of fact, I'm trying to just, without pissing off her daddy officially, shafting herself from the back with a T'Challa. I'm just saying. But to see those in the show and have them play out the way they did as weapons of violence that even Kimiko used was fucking crazy. There is so much with this show, you know, for as graphic as it is, for as violent as it is, it hits home in a lot of ways. You know, the play on Fox News being the VOT News Network, you know, how Homelander talking about the mainstream media, and this is things we're hearing about now. How you're really seeing how Homelander being that person that made up a story, and because he knew he had fans who would follow him to the T's, who were former Stormfront fans, he lied about Starlight, and everybody still believed it. But we watched none of that being true about Starlight. It mirrors society in itself. I love when we can get a little bit of realism with our comic books and cartoons, because again, a lot of them when they were created were based upon real life situations that were happening, and so now to translate them kind of only seem relevant and seem right. Like I said, if I gave the show for the season, on a scale of 1 to 5, it's getting a 5 out your boy. It's getting a 5 out your boy. I can't wait to see what happens in season 4. You know, now Ryan is going to be more of a factor. Of course, by the time we come around to season 4, he'll be more grown. You know, he already, you know, he's learning to fly now. He has his lasers. He is his son. He is his father. But the question will be, just as Homelander is stronger than Soulja Boy, which we found out in the show that Homelander is Soulja Boy's son, will Ryan be stronger than Homelander because he's half soup? Again, Homelander was created fully in a lab, but Ryan, he's the product of sexual assault. Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. Now Starlight, she's not Starlight of the 7. I think she's still Starlight, but now she can fly. She's gotten to that point where she realized if she absorbs enough electricity and power, she can fly. Maeve, again, is regular, but will Maeve do what Kimiko did and get a hold of some V to get her abilities back? But it won't give her eye back. But, because again, the only way she could be hurt is through somebody as powerful as Homelander. Homelander is now full sociopath villain, but in the public eye. Butcher and Huey are on the verge of death. Butcher more so than Huey, because Butcher's been told he's got 12 months to live because he kept taking V. Soulja Boy, Grace Mallory is, she's kidnapped. She's put him in a chamber to break in case of emergency. Like, instead of killing him, because remember the goal was, to use him to kill Homelander, but they didn't know he was going to be like how he was. Oh yeah, I got to bring up the Cosby jokes they brought up with Soulja Boy. Everything of who he was. Him fucking the older lady saying, these are like fine wine and just get dry. What? Because you forget he's old. Again, the potential of if Captain America was real, what would he be like? I mean, Captain America was drawn to be a certain way. And again, we know that The Boys is meant to be a play on a lot of characters. Now, I will admit, too, I think after seeing Homelander, after seeing Brightburn, after seeing Omni-Man and a few others, the trope of what if Superman was evil has been done now, and I think there's no other way you can really go, because now you've gone from being a megalomaniac to being racist, to being whiny, to being needy for attention, to being all these different things we've seen in all these different iterations, and just again being straight up evil. So now I think that trope should be done. Let Homelander be the last. I mean, yes, we get into the season of Invincible, but I don't think we need that trope anymore. That's just me. But nonetheless, I want to know what you all think down in those comments below. I know I've been all over the place with this. Again, I didn't get a chance to do this episode by episode. So let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. As I say on all these videos, we are talking about a comic book TV show. Yes, there are some real life reflections within it, but keep the discourse civil, y'all. Alright? Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok until they ban me at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Yeah, join my Supervillain Squad, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. The Mad Titan Podcast is on hiatus for another couple of weeks because I got a real busy schedule, so I don't have time to get it done. But if you want to check out the previous episodes, they are all up and available anywhere you get your podcast from, all right? Holler at y'all later. Take care. Your boy out. Bye.